We have Electra Kilby. Next, we have Shabam Saraf, who plays Prabhu. Next, we have Antonia Deplat, who plays Carla. And finally, we have Charlie Hunnam, who plays Lynn. Now, Charlie is not only in the film, he's also a producer, so I'm going to give him the mic to say a few words for your experience for tonight.
All right. Well, thank you first and foremost for coming out. As a producer, I get asked questions that I don't normally get asked, like, how should we publicize the show? And all I could say was, we need to come to Toronto. Thank you guys for showing up. This is always the best place. You guys are definitely the most sophisticated film audience that I ever come across doing press. So, you know, this episode, I wasn't sure which episode you were seeing because I didn't do enough prep for this, but this episode actually turns out to be episode 6, which hasn't aired yet, which I think is maybe my favorite episode of the season, because Vincent Perez, who's one of our wonderful actors who couldn't be here tonight, has his real starring turn. So we'll talk about it after, but hopefully you'll enjoy the episode, and thank you for coming, and we'll go get drunk and answer some questions afterwards. Love you!
We'll see you later.
Family acts.
There we go. This is.
I'm in heels, hold on. Okay. Oh, thanks, Charlie.
Sorry.
All right.
This is better.
This is better. And I have to say, I had a chance to sit with them yesterday, and it was so nice seeing you guys coming together, because I feel like you're guys catching up after being together for 3 years trying to make this series happen. What does it mean for you to be able to have this as a group?
It's everything.
Yeah.
Shubham, tell us what this is like.
Kind of weird. I was speaking to someone, I can't remember if it was the TIFF guys or not, but about how I read the book when I was 15, and there was such like a myth surrounded with like the making of the adaptation, would be a movie or TV show, even the book itself, whether it's true or not, it's had such a myth, and that myth has like lived with me since I was 15. Like, I remember reading it on a plane next to my dad to Bombay, and then coming out and being like, oh my God, yes. And like my reality was sort of an extension of the fictive or non-fictive world of Gregory David Roberts. And it's sort of, I was like discovering, like, I go to India every year, but I was discovering India kind of like with Lynn as I read the book. It was kind of amazing. And the character that leapt most out to me was Prabhu. He was the biggest joy to read. And to think that, and I remember finishing the book and being like, I really fucking hope someone likes making a movie about this. And I like Googled it, and I saw, oh, they are. Oh, Johnny Depp's attached. That's interesting. Cool. Okay, yeah, I hope that gets made. Amazing. And then, you know, cut to like however many years later, I'm like part of embodying the manifestation of this myth. It's kind of a dream come true. Yeah, it's amazing.
That's amazing. And here's Prabhu.
And how amazing is he as Prabhu, right? You bring so much chemistry with Lynn, and there's such a beautiful chemistry between you two. What did it mean for you to be able to bring that story alive with Shabam?
I mean, we talked about it a little bit. It was always clear when anybody who's read the book can see how vital their friendship is. I mean, it really is a big part of the theme, so like the revivifying nature of friendship. And Lynn really needs him, and we really needed that dynamic to work. But because of COVID and a bunch of obstacles that we had to try to navigate around or over or under, Shubham and I had not had the opportunity to ever meet each other prior to. We spent, you know, a couple of like, you know, sort of shouted across the lake and, you know, sort of going in and out of costume fittings and seeing each other, but we hadn't actually really had a chance to commune. And then the first scene we shot was really the scene that establishes their friendship. which was either going to be great or a fucking disaster, because we needed to fall in love in that scene and to, you know, feel like we understood that this friendship was going to be a vital part of this journey. And so it was kind of a wild card, and I think we both showed up pretty nervous. And we were supposed to shoot in India, and unfortunately, I mean, obviously India's one of the primary, probably the main character in the show. And obviously the intention was to shoot in India for obvious reasons, and because of COVID we weren't able to, so we had to pivot last minute and go and shoot in Thailand. And so we had built, or Chris Kennedy, our incredible production designer, had built this extraordinary, like 3-acre set of the slum. And so we both were very nervous about showing up, but also when that much time and money and expertise have been put into creating an extraordinary set, it was when we as actors show up, and that is sort of all of that work and brilliance and money is just sort of background for us now to make this thing work, sort of, you know, front and center. I think we both were kind of shitting ourselves, and then something happened where we kind of just said, fuck it, let's enjoy each other and enjoy the moment and make each other laugh and, you know, drink some real whiskey. And
yeah, you spat some whiskey into my face.
Yeah, and a friendship was born.
Deep COVID. During COVID, it was real trust.
Broke all the rules. You know, and the fact that you talked about the book, you read it when you were 15, you read it like 7 years ago while you're in Thailand. It's 980 pages. There's something so intriguing about this book. What really stuck up for me? For me, was when the fact that he escapes prison. Like, how does that even happen? What was it that really said, this needs to be on screen?
Greg, I think, developed a little bit sooner than I did in life. Like I said, I was 35 when I first read this, and starting to ask some of my questions of myself that Lynn, as a late 20-year-old, was asking in this book, but in a really sort of concentrated way, because he'd ruined his life and lost access to all of those sort of identifying features, you know, of his life. And so I suppose mainly I was just really excited about the opportunity to explore, you know, just the big themes, you know, sort of how do we bring forth our intention in life, and what even is the nature of personal identity, and what's the meaning of life, and what is the nature of God? I mean, pretty big questions, but I found myself thinking, you know, compelled to ask those questions of myself at that period of time. And so he's far smarter than I am and far further along his journey. So it's incredible to be exposed to those ideas, you know, in real time, as I was already sort of in the process of trying to find answers to them. So the idea of getting to play this journey and do like a deep dive and a deep exploration into the nature of these things was pretty exciting.
Did you find yourself through this process?
No, I'm still looking.
And Antonia, your character, I said this earlier, is badass. Like, I absolutely love her, and the way she holds herself up, the independence and what she does, but she's also causing a lot of trouble. So how would you describe her relationship with Lynn? Because you guys just watched episode 6, right? There's more happens, so.
Well, I think Lynn is a catalyst to Carla sort of letting her true self come out a little bit. I think she tries so hard to be a certain version of herself in certain situations to try and show power, and in order to feel powerful, but actually she's just running away from her fears. And I think with Lynn is the first time where she, and I think you see that in episode 5, where it's the first time she actually is just being Carla and her true self. And I think it's really fun to play her, because I get to play, you know, 6 or 7 different characters, and every scene is a completely different new version of Carla. But I think Lynn is a catalyst in her trying to dive deeper into who she really is and actually face her fears.
And, you know, there's I can't remember what episode, but there's a scene with you and Electra and with Lisa, and she's on the bed after going through some horrific moments, and it's a pivotal moment, I felt, at that point, of who you were. And didn't like you at that moment, I didn't like Carla at that moment, but we learned the darkness of your character, Lisa. So how did you have space to make Lisa your own?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we all have darkness in us, and I think it's whether we're you know, dare to tap into it. And tapping into it is kind of hard sometimes, I feel, like, because you kind of bring it home with you. But I feel like Lisa has a lot of lightness too. She wants to see the beauty in everyone and see the beauty in life, and she wants to have fun. And no, Lisa's such an amazing character to play. She's so many things at once. She's childish, but she's also mature. She's confident and frail. She's a walking contradiction, and so amazing to embody.
So you mentioned the main character is India. What did you love about working in India? Because I think of chaos right away when you create a film, being on set, and you had the challenges of COVID. What was it like for all of you?
For me, it was the kindness of people and the generosity. They were so lovely and just excitingly happy. I don't think I got that quite right, but yeah, there you go.
And Shabam, you go every year, apparently.
Yeah. It was kind of ironic. I was born there, have been there almost every year of my life, apart from when we were filming. Really weird. I don't know what's that.
And Charlotte? You've been there a few times too.
Yeah, I've been a few times. I got to go and have a sort of a wild adventure for a month before, you know, in between this looking like it was going to be real and actually starting to shoot. But again, I loved shooting in Bombay and just the chaos of it. You know, we had a couple of scenes to do in a market space that looks extraordinary but was impossible to shut down. So, you know, Tony and I did a 3.5-page scene where we're just walking through the crowd, you know, and it was, I don't know, give, take, felt like 1 million people on that street. And it is amazing and unpredictable and wild, and it sort of informed a little bit of the, you know, the process. You know, we would do fun, wild things like, I think the one that Tony always remembers is we were doing a scene and we got halfway through it, and she looked away and a guy rode by, passed on a bike, and I said, sort of, what's up? And he said, what's up? And I said, can I have a ride? He said, yeah. So I got in the back of the bike.
And then I turn right and Charlie's not there, and I'm just in a scene alone with 100 strangers and with kids holding my hands. And it was Diwali, so there was like, I mean, in that scene it was Diwali, so they had put fireworks everywhere. It was total mayhem, but it was. And then we got into this little alley, and then ended up in a labyrinth of tiny mini alleys. And then our DP was just shooting this guy who was just sort of on another planet. It was mayhem, but it was fantastic.
Now, has Robert seen the film or the series? And have you talked to him?
I haven't talked to him.
I
I'm a little
know
terrified.
that. So I know that his wife has, but I mean his partner, but he just says he's too close to the book, and he always made a promise that no matter what type of adaptation the book was going to be turned into, he would not be able to watch it. So she watched it. She did, and sort of tells him how it's going. But she's very happy, and so is he.
Wow.
Yeah.
He should watch it, though.
I mean, when you've written a book and, you know, that has been
1,000-page
destroyed.
book that he rewrote 5 times.
Yeah, it's been destroyed in prison so many times, so I think
Charlie
I
plays
would
Lynn,
understand.
please him. I mean, you gotta watch that.
So good for his ego.
He's very happy with the casting.
Although I haven't seen it either, so maybe it's like the right. No, that's not true.
Okay.
I normally don't ever watch anything, but because I was working so closely with Steve Lightfoot, our producer, I ended up having to watch the cuts. But I watched very, very early cuts that didn't have the music, weren't graded, didn't have any ADR, hadn't gone through the process. So I've actually never seen the finished result, and I never will. So, you know, maybe that's, you know, I don't know.
So as a producer, don't you think you should watch it?
Well, I did watch it.
Okay.
I watched it to the extent of understanding what, you know, the drama and what we did well and what we didn't do well. So, you know, to me, the process is the process. Like, the process is where all the value lies. It's actually all of the work preparing, trying to figure out what the aspiration is, you know, overcoming the obstacles and actually going to make it. By the time the thing's finished, I've usually just moved on to the next project. I don't think that scene's played yet.
No. And I think the general theme...
Like I said, I didn't watch
Watch the show!
My bad.
And also that scene is like about how they're both actually not sexually free in that moment. Who's going, see? He's a new guy. Yeah.
And Electra, you know, episode 6, there's a lot more to come afterwards. But there's something really important that happens between your character, Lisa, with Lynn. And how do you think that bond is actually being created to get to that point?
Well, Lynn is the character that gets Lisa clean, or helps get Lisa clean. And I think there's a weird affinity between them, because I think Lisa represents his old life and his old love. And I think that's scary, but also kind of familiar at the same time. Correct me if you know. And I think Lynn also feels familiar to Lisa. I feel like he's safe in a weird way. His presence is safe, and everyone else wants something from her. And I think she's trying to offer him things, and he doesn't want it. So she's like, but why? Why? And it's an interesting relationship, but that it gets a bit complicated throughout the season. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know if you know, but the Shantaram means a man that walks in God's light, and I think that's a lot of the central theme of this is the navigating between light and dark. You know, that Alexander Solzhenitsyn idea, the line between good and evil runs down the center of every human heart, and that's a big theme in this, and a lot of the people, apart from really Prabhu, who is the emblem of walking in God's light, a lot of us are caught in that gray zone of trying to get out of intense darkness and try to walk towards the light, you know, and I think that these guys sort of recognize that in each other and, you know, find solace in a bit of that sort of familiarity or community of suffering.
It's interesting too with Lynn, he was supposed to leave India right after
That wasn't supposed to be funny, but...
I didn't think it was funny.
It was meaningful, it was sincere.
The community is suffering, you know, SAG-AFTRA. No, I love the union, I just mean they generally the participants tend to be quite depressed.
Next question.
With Lynn, the fact is he was supposed to be in India for a bit, and then he's supposed to go to Germany, I believe, and he was supposed to move on with his life, but just it seems like problems always follow him. Everywhere he goes, there's something that's happening. Do you think that's just who he is, that he lives off of it? No, I think that he got, my sense is that he got derailed, and, you know, it's the way energy works, that, you know, it's the way sort of positive and negative feedback loops work, you know, just in science, and I think that the human condition is also beholden to that, and when things go well, they tend to, it's easier for things to continue to go well, and when they go badly, they tend to, you know, spiral in that direction. That was more my sense, that it's not that he's necessarily willingly or, you know, consciously attracting it to himself, is that he made a bad mistake, and the consequence of several more bad mistakes. I love that. Okay, since this was a love letter to India, I'm doing a little quiz with you guys.
Yeah, this has all been a bit serious, hasn't it?
This is going to be fun. Okay.
Okay, good.
Your favorite Indian cuisine?
Huh?
Favorite Indian dish?
Oh, dish.
Dish. Let's say dish.
Indian cuisine is Indian.
Yeah, you're right.
Chola bhatura?
Okay, yes.
Chickpeas.
Ooh, I like that.
Matar paneer.
Which one?
Matar paneer.
I don't know. Everything, I guess.
Pick
Everything.
one.
You know, when I was a kid, my best friend growing up in Newcastle was a kid called Shankar, and we would do Michael Jackson dancing together, and his uncle and father owned the local Indian restaurant in my neighborhood called the Dwaniyam. And I there was famous because I was the only 6, 7-year-old who ate Vindaloo. They would call me my first nickname was the Vindaloo Kid. So let's go with Vindaloo. Although I don't roll, I was way tougher at 6 than I am now, because I can't fuck with Vindaloos anymore.
I mean, all the classics. I love dal, palak paneer. I love the raita sauce. I love a good old last mango lassi.
Yes, you're my girl. We're hanging out later.
All of it's good. All of it's good.
Yes. Okay, favorite city in India?
Mumbai.
Varanasi.
Why?
Or Amritsar. Varanasi is just spectacular. It's an ancient city right on the bank of the river Ganges, and the Hindu people believe that you can escape samsara if you die in that city. You know, the never-ending cycle of death and rebirth. And so it's an incredible place to just go and sort of bear witness to humanity at its most sort of heightened state, where people go there to pass away, you know, and it attracts an enormous quantity of holy people. You know, in the sort of, I've lived in America for 25 years, and as you can relate, being in Canada, it's a fairly short history. There's the funeral pyres where the people that have passed, I mean, I'm sure I'm preaching so quiet, it looks like everybody's nodding that, yeah, we know, dummy. But for those that don't, these, you know, people who have passed are burned outdoors in these incredible funeral pyres, and there is a flame that's been burning for over 2,000 years that all of those funeral pyres are lit from, and one family have been responsible for tending that flame for over 2,000 years. And just meeting people like that, and I had an extraordinary experience where a fairly young sadhu man decided that he was gonna sort of take me under his wing, and I didn't have any plans while I was in India. I arrived in Mumbai with just one night in a hotel booked, and I just wanted to sort of go wherever India wanted to show me, and I somehow got, you know, brought together with this guy and sat with him in Varanasi for 7 days, and basically in silence, and we sort of smoked and communicated non-verbally, and that's a pretty extraordinary, you know, privilege to be able to do that.
How old were you?
Old as shit. It was only a few years ago. Like, I don't know, 38 maybe.
38, okay.
I wasn't quite as grey as I am now. I'm going grey, and it's really unfortunate. I mean, I'm gonna own it. I'm not gonna go to the whatever that product is.
I like it. It looks good on you. It looks nice, right?
Doesn't look
Yeah.
Looks great, Charlie.
It looks great. And you?
Me?
Yeah, your favorite city.
Oh yeah, Kolkata. Kolkata.
Oh,
Or
yes.
Calcutta, formerly Calcutta.
And
I was born there.
Yeah.
I've been there every year of my life. It's a home. It's a home, and you know, rightfully titled the City of Joy. It's mad.
Yeah.
It's mad. And
that's where all the parties are too, right?
Kind of.
Yeah.
It's got a very interesting breakdown, because I'm a Marwadi, and there's like loads of Marwadis there who are sort of, I don't know how to define them, the most like random sort of type of region from India that sort of have spread everywhere. And but the Bengali people are like the intellects of, I mean, if I was to be stereotypical, in the intellects of India, you know, that's where Satyajit Roy, you know, Parij, all these stuff, like, there you go. Like,
I mean, Gujaratis are smart too.
Gujaratis are smart, but I mean, if we're gonna go down the stereotype,
I wouldn't if I were you, but
I can.
No, you
Keep
can't.
going.
I'm the one guy that can.
True that.
Yeah, the stereotype is Gujaratis are smart with money.
And love.
And love. All of it, really. Don't quote me on stereotypes.
I'm a Patel, all right?
Yeah, Patel, yeah.
Have you seen a Bollywood film? If so, which one? Any of you guys?
I've seen loads. You guys go.
Have you been exposed to Bollywood films? Any of you?
I have.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you any of their titles though.
Oh,
I'm
no?
sorry.
That's why I'm sitting here going like this, because I have
no,
seen so
you
many.
really- you-
There's
you
one
caught
that's
us
kind of a
out there.
western that I saw, that's kind of in the 70s, and it's a western, and ends up like in a house in the middle of a desert, and it's a policeman.
Sholay? Okay.
Yes.
There you go. Good. Yes.
Gangs of
That's great.
Wasseypur. I watched
Yes.
thanks to this guy. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what's the name? Damn it, I forgot.
I love that. And
Gangs.
finally, Shantaram, the meaning is man of God's peace, which is pretty powerful. How do you all practice peacefulness?
As in our own life, so
Mm-hmm.
yoga
Yoga.
and meditate. And kindness.
She's like, I'm kind.
Yeah, I mean, be kind.
Again, I'm old now, so all of that anger and everything just, you know, it just evaporates over the years, and you have nothing left but peacefulness.
Oh, I love that. You?
Meditation and trying to practice presence.
I love that. Yeah.
Hang on, did Charlie just claim to have reached nirvana?
He's enlightened now.
Oh, goodness.
He's walking with the
He
gods.
just claimed that. And no one said anything. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, you're the only one who said anything, you know?
I mean, you know.
You're the only one who really knows me, I guess.
No, he is
Is he a peaceful guy? Yeah.
He's a pilgrim.
He's a pilgrim.
I don't know who I was telling outside that he is a pilgrim. A pilgrim to either your
Kind
craft
of
or
pilgrim.
yourself. Yeah. Very
Yeah,
much
you were
so.
saying that to me, actually. You were telling me that he was a pilgrim.
yeah,
Right, that's
very
right.
much so. I've never seen
And
someone
for
so
you, how do you
dedicated.
practice peacefulness?
I don't know.
Are you ever peaceful?
I don't. There are moments. There are moments. I think for the chaos to exist, there must be an unchanging base that everything responds to. And someone who lives a very chaotic life, there are moments where I'd like get to that unchanging base, but it's there. It's in the background.
Thank you so much. Thank you to all of you. Season 2 should be coming soon. Congratulations to all of you. And this is absolutely amazing, this series on Apple Plus TV. And if you haven't watched it already from beginning to end, it's worth it. I absolutely loved it, especially the last episode. Things happen. So thank you for being here. And thank you guys for joining us in Toronto.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Hey,